Plasma agriculture. A new method of farming and agriculture through the use of the new Keshe plasma science and technology. Farming. Virus processing protects the life of farm animals by processing away the energy packages called viruses. Increase in fishery and farming products. Create the optimal conditions for farming to thrive. Reduction in growth time. The plants grow faster and stronger. Reduction in harvesting time. The earlier maturity time for harvest allows farmers multiple harvests per season. Extension of the shelf life of agricultural products. Increase in grain protein content without interfering with seed genes. Environment. Reduction of chemical agriculture inputs. No more fertilizers or pesticides. Progressive reduction of land nitrites and chemical contaminants clean and restore the environment. Decontamination of agricultural water from poison and metals. Health through food. Reduction in the use of chemical fertilizers or antibiotics in farming practices. Food nutrients in the crops are kept without the use of genetic modification. Improved health for people and environment. Plasma culture. Using the Keshe plasma science and technology, the environment creates and provides to the plants exactly what and how much they need to prosper. Reduction in use of groundwater in agricultural systems. As the energy is absorbed from the environment, a plant does not need that much water to create its own food and energy to grow. Greater crop tolerance to temperature variation. The possibility to grow crops in any climate at any time of the year. Non-GMO. Use of the newly discovered natural state of matter known as Gans plasma water. Allow the natural growth and development of agricultural products. Use of non-GMO agriculture process, proven through governmental tests. Financial security for farmers. Simplify the methods and processes requiring less effort from farmers. More than 30% increase in crop yields. Increase in income for farmers. Global change. Eliminate famine worldwide. Increase national and global food security. Contact us. Visit our website for the brochure in your language. From the beginning of time, humans have always looked towards the sky for inspiration and guidance. There has been a fascination with birds, stars, gods, goddesses, and other entities which seem to exist above us, and for many humans, a strong yearning to travel into space. Man has dreamt of flight since observing space, and now it is time to become the space traveller. The future of space travel requires us to understand from where we came, to see where we are going.
Several thousand years ago, philosophers Mozi and Lu Ban from China were looking to the wind for flight. They invented kites using silk and bamboo, allowing for the later development of communication, measuring distances, testing the wind, and lifting men.
The invention of the kite brought with it the desire to fly. The first known attempts at flight were typically by leaping off towers, known as tower jumping. People in China, India and Europe first attempted flight this way.
In 1670, Francesco Lana de Tarzi published a book that showed some interesting concepts. The concept of copper foil in a sphere with a vacuum would produce a vacuum airship. This is still not possible with today's materials. Francesco is recognized as the father of aeronautics, melding science and mathematics into aerial navigation.
The Chinese are believed to have developed the first hot air device. The Chinese lantern, using hot air from a candle, can take flight and was first used for signalling. The hot air balloon achieved the first human lift and advanced to what we know of as the Zeppelin.
The first attempts at flight in a heavier-than-air flying machine were made by more than just the Wright brothers. Most attempts failed. However, they were the stepping stones for what was to come later. The oldest airport, College Park, is still in operation today.
Airplanes evolved rapidly through the century, from propeller to helicopter to jet aircraft, and most of that technology is used today.
During the Second World War, Germany developed rockets that could go a limited distance. The basic rocket technology used then is still used today. The space race started with the Soviet Union and the USA in 1957 and led to many developments for the next step, the moon.
The spacecraft assigned as Apollo 11 was the first spacecraft to have landed on the moon. The space shuttle operated at tremendous cost. Burning the fuel proved to be wasteful and dangerous technology. The International Space Station, ISS, is a habitable artificial satellite that was assembled in low Earth orbit in 1998 with the use of the space shuttle. The ISS can often be seen with the naked eye from Earth.
SpaceX, as a private aerospace producer and space transportation services company, was founded in 2002 by Elon Musk with the goal of reducing space transportation costs and enabling the colonization of Mars. SpaceX reuses the first stage of their primary rocket, Falcon 9, by vertical propulsive landings. Although, up to present time, it still uses the rocket fuel burning technology. Mayron Keshe has always said, the time for burning fuels is over, but did we need to start with that technology in the first place?
Ancient cultures have suggested the use of an alternative means of transportation. With reference to possible plasma technology,
you can go to New York from Brussels within 2 to 5 minutes. And most of this 5 minutes is actually landing and getting up.
Mayron Tavakkoli Keshe was born in Iran in 1958. As the son of an X-ray engineer, he was introduced to the world of radiation and nuclear science at a very young age. In 1981, he graduated from Queen Mary, the University of London, as a nuclear engineer specialized in reactor technology system control. At that time, he developed a number of theoretical ideas related to more simple nuclear concepts and their applications. In 2002, he decided to finish the full design of his ideas about nuclear technology. This included the creation and control of gravity and energy by the use of nuclear materials in a clean and safe hydrogen reactor. Mayron Keshe introduced the concept of double magnetic fields to explain the magnetic and gravitational field of Earth.
Unknown by the existing scientific community, he wrote a number of scientific papers in 2004 and sent them for peer review, such as the creation of black holes. When one of the persons performing the peer review used his information in public, he decided to draw back his papers and to concentrate further on building prototypes.
Since the beginning of 2006, several prototypes of dynamic reactors have been built, some specifically designed to create hovering effects, similar to effects seen with magnetic levitation. Basic hovering effects have been achieved. 2007 brought the first flight test with radioactive material, in which the patents describe the process of the field interactions.
The main patent, Gravitational and Energy System, described the initial fundamental aspects of the plasma and uses. This was followed by the supplemental patent, Microplasma Reactors, where further uses and advancements were described. Mr. Keshe found himself in Iran in 2008 and was provided all the resources needed to create the first lift of a plasma reactor managed by the Iranian government. These special rotating gas reactors were used to control the plasma. To bring a deeper understanding, Mr. Keshe released the first book in 2009, The Universal Order of Creation of Matters, which contained many new concepts released to the public. This included the PMTIC plasma magnetic fields, initial fundamental plasma and plasma dilution technology used for space reactors. The plasma technology was further developed and it manifested in weight fluctuation in a controlled environment. 2010 introduced a new state of matter called Gans, an acronym for gas in nano-solid state. The Gans produces fields to be used in the operation of the spaceship. Advanced flight tests were performed in Iran with the guidance of Mr. Keshe and the newly designed systems.
Mr. Keshe tells us you can't bring all the doctors with you in space. Medical research advanced in 2010 and is still being explored daily all around the world. The Keshe Foundation has provided knowledge for dealing with many medical conditions in space.
A great example of plasma technology used for peaceful process is the capturing of the USA drone over Iran in December 2011. This drone was touted as one of the most advanced drones of its day and was caught by Iran using plasma to disrupt the communications. Plasma absorbs fields and the drone uses radio fields for piloting, a natural aspect of the plasma, a barrier of fields.
Book 2, The Structure of the Light, was released in 2011. This book brought forward the understanding of the structure of light as a cylindrical plasma where the light is in possession of all magnetic field strengths. Book 3, The Origin of the Universe, was published later in 2011. Mr. Keshe explained the further operation and interaction of different strengths of the same fields, which then leads to the creation of the universe. These 3 books bring forward a much deeper understanding of the plasma science that is applied worldwide by knowledge seekers and scientists in spaceship research and development.
There were 2 conferences to release the space technology to governments in 2012. The first international presentation in April, Keshe Foundation invited representatives of every country to the first presentation of the plasma technology. The second international presentation in September, Keshe Foundation invited the nations of the world through their ambassadors and their leaders to attend a gathering at the Keshe Foundation Center in Nenove, Belgium.
Space travel requires peace. The implementation of the plasma technology brings greater responsibility. In 2013, Mr. Keshe brought forward the World Peace Treaty. Signing of the peace treaty is a confirmation from yourself to your soul to act correctly in a peaceful manner.
In 2014, knowledge seekers came together from around the world to learn from Mr. Keshe, and many different experiments with reactors were performed, including improving the previously developed reactors to fit with the new knowledge, introduction of nano-coated reactors, multi-core Gans systems. The Spaceship Institute lab experiments were streamed live on the internet for all to see. SSI lab tests with reactors showed strong magnetic field pulses up to 129 Tesla and showed significant weight fluctuations. In December, an experiment was performed using reactors built by knowledge seekers from around the world. Italy, Germany, and Canada were involved in field communication tests. The tests showed that fields can interact with each other no matter the distance or time, resulting in instant communication.
In 2015, developments for space continued with different aspects of the plasma technology, such as in health, energy, and decontamination. In October of 2015, Mr. Keshe taught a popular week-long course called the Blueprint Teachings about how to build the MAGRAV power units. People from all over the world participated with building their own MAGRAV units and teaching others. With the demand of the Keshe Foundation products from all over the world, a new research center and manufacturing opened in Arizona, USA. Many developments of the technology happened in different parts of the world, and Keshe Foundation USA is no exception. John and the team started performing experiments using different sensing tools. These tools allowed the team to visualize the MAGRAV fields and to show others their interactions. With reactor formations showing positive results, partaking in the knowledge together is easier and more joyful than ever. The fun has just begun, says MT Keshe.
Mr. Keshe publicly teaches the space technology through the weekly Knowledge Seekers workshops. Plasma enthusiasts from around the world participate in gathering the knowledge and putting the puzzle together in the space race. All people, irrespective of race, nation or religion, are invited to participate in the exchange of knowledge, thus assisting humanity to live within the ethos of the universe. It is recognized that international cooperation and peace is a prerequisite for mankind to journey into deep space. Individuals and nations are invited to come together in the spirit of collaboration and unity to enable peaceful application and the use of plasma technology for space travel, food, agriculture, energy, transportation, health and more. We are excited to release the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Blueprint to humanity.
Welcome everyone to the 271st Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, April 11th, 2019. This is a presentation from the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, public teaching in English. My name is Rick Krim and I'll be your host today, along with Flint Mulhausen, sorry. And I believe Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation is ready to go in the background here with today's presentation and teaching. Mr. Keshe, are you there?
Yes, good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you listen to these Knowledge Seekers workshops. As we see, we're in 271 sessions of Knowledge Seekers, and we're still learning a little bit at a time, brick by brick, building it up and trying to see where we can go and how deep we can develop this technology to the point that we can lead man and mankind to find a new dimension in life. Maybe, as I said before some times ago, that we're bringing this technology forward, that many of us who find salvation in just living a peaceful life and enough to be able to sustain life, we might find we don't expect more than a comfortable life. We can provide food, or what we call energy, to survive through the technology. We can create a condition of shelter. We can do all these ourselves. We can create a position that we can travel and land where we want. Then it comes, what is mankind going to do? Would the development of this technology in bringing men comfort will bring stagnation?
in the school of thought of the man. And would we go back to again the old cycle? We're just forgetting everything and starting again. Or
Excuse me, Mr. Keshe, I think there's we need to select your microphone there. It's coming through a bit like it's coming from the machine. Ah.
Is it better now?
Oh, much more
Perfect.
presence. Thank you. You're right there now.
I forgot to push the headphone in. So it comes to the point that we think, do we need to go through all this rigmarole which we are going through now just to survive daily life? And then would some of us become more adventurous and start laying new ways for mankind, or at least for some of mankind, to find new, what I call, business, to be busy, that they can do something? Would this bring a new intellect in? Would this bring a condition that we can interact, we can communicate, we can find a space, position, that what is needed to be completed in non-verbal communication, or being able to interact with other parties, that you can amplify your thoughts, to be able to span the universe with the same kind of communication system. One of the most advanced communication systems we know of with us is what is electronically is available today. We call it satellites. We call it everything else, but they still need digital electronic system to decipher it, that it can understand, and then we can understand what is being deciphered. This brings a lot of problems for mankind. You're going through chips and chips, and you're going through the speed of sound, or you go through all other things, but does not solve what we call the zero-time communication. What is the next level of the human race line of communication? How do we come to be able to produce systems that in so many ways can transfer information across in the spans of universe, using, understanding the float, the information across the universe? We rely on many things, but the new space of understanding, the new methods of understanding of line of communication in line of horizon is what we can do, what we can spare, what we can more or less achieve. How do we create the new cycle of communication systems? Without a communication system, man becomes isolated in depth of the space. Because then we worried, what is my son up to? What is happened to the dog? Is everything safe? But I can't wait for 3 hours, 1 year, for the voice to get to me from the other side of this line, the other side of the universe. In the teaching, understanding the creation of gravitational magnetic field system, we have realized these systems are natural communication system. Inherently, they send out, and inherently, they receive back. But as we've seen with the star formations, as we've seen with all the galaxies, as we've seen with everything else in the universe, we have to understand the strength of. What is the strength of going, and what is the strength of coming back? We're sending a message out, but maybe is received, but how do we get the message back? Are we, as we say, in the matter state, speaking on the same frequency? Or is it a one-way communication? What are the new tools of communication using plasma technology, which gives man zero time? How do we develop these technologies? How do we take these new understandings of the work of the plasma into practicality of the use for mankind? At the moment, if you are in Washington and you're listening to somebody broadcasting live in Tehran, you see the mouth moves, or it has to wait till he hears the voice before he can answer. This is halfway across this planet. What are we going to do in the distance space of the universe? What facilities, what technology we need to develop that does not matter whereabouts in the universe we are and what kind of obstacles on the path, we can still send a message home. And still we can get this message back. That the no noise or obstacle in the universe can become barriers. Because if we understand the totality of the knowledge of the magnetic field spectrum, then we can tune into a specific line, a specific strength, a specific what we call magnetic field transportation, which gives itself at what a speed, at what a strength. And when I tell you I am at 15 Tesla, for example, 0.5 in magnetical and 4.3 gravitational, wherever in the universe you tune to that, you can listen. But do we have Tesla measuring systems in the universe? But do we have systems that can be fixed continuously, does not matter where we are, to transmit the whole noise, the whole voice, the school of thought and the soul that anybody in the universe can tune into? Like initial systems which we discussed, we can find new ways, we can find new methods, we can find the direction of the flow that allows us to bring a new understanding and a new technology in communication. How do we develop these technologies? How much have we understood the full knowledge that now we step up to the next level? In fact, if you look at all the teachings of nearly past year and past years, the communication systems has been sitting right in front of us. Because we never considered, we have ignored it, or we didn't ignore it, it's not there, we don't see it. We use it in health system. We use it in material production system. We use it in every aspects of this technology in a dynamic system. And to be able to understand and be able to reach the understanding of the others, we always said the system will take in any direction as it needs to. But at the same time, the same system takes what it needs to. Now we can see there is a common denominator. We know this system. This system exists within the body of the man. We have the soul of the man. Then we have the soul of the physicality of the man, which sits around the heart of the man. But at the same time, we have the physicality of the man. But every cell of the physicality has its own soul, which all interacts with the soul of the man. Does not matter where you are. Even though they have a connection through the dimension of the soul of the man to every other part of the body of the man. When your soul transfers its energy or the information to the heart, sorry, the other guy standing next to you does not get the information to his soul of his heart, does it? What you feel emotionally in your brain, in reaction, in respect to the attitude of your heart and the dimension of physicality, does not give cancer to your wife or to your children. So we can see the zero time communication, a specific direction, is already being part of the life of the man. The only thing is, move the soul here and move the soul of the heart of the man there. Or, in a simple way, find the strength that these to communicate. Does not matter where you take the body of the man, you still have access to the soul of the man. At the same time, as you have created a common denominator with the soul of the others, like your mother or father, you have, does not matter where you are, you have an instant communication. Then this brings man to a new understanding. This brings man to find out about actual the strength of the soul of himself, that through it he can communicate with the other souls. In the teaching of last week, we spoke about the common denominator that is within the soul of the man, which is within the soul of the creator and everything else. How do we tune to the specific? And we don't always want to speak to one, we want to speak to collective of the souls together. There is a party. You just don't want to talk to anyone. You want to say to everybody there is a birthday party or we're gonna blow the candle. How do you let? How do you choose?
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Like the soul of you. Somebody's microphone is open. the other souls across the universe can hear. This is the process that will be unique, and it will be developed and understood and operational by the members of Universal Council and the Earth Council, where as a soul present on this planet, they are present in soul to those of the Earth siblings who travel the space of the universe. It's a commitment to common denominator, the strength of the soul of the mankind. This is why we do not choose the members of the Universal Council. We let their souls to step up as they have matured to that step, to become the reacher of all those who understand in the emotion of the language of spoken, or the emotion of the language of the man.
Sorry, Mr. Keshe, we did lose part of what you said there. When you heard the interruption, that was me coming on to ask if you were still there. We lost probably about 20 to 30 seconds, which was the part you were explaining about the when the Universal Council part came in there.
Yeah, so
perhaps you could just
no problem. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you well now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. What is happening? This is the reason why the members of the Universal Council are chosen by their own soul and not by the man. Because when you step up to become a member of the Universal Council, where you judge by your soul, you have managed to enter, to understand that point of communication with the rest of the souls of the common language. Because to speak a language, we trigger specific strength within the soul and physicality of the brain of the man. We touches the emotion of the man. But at the same time, if you are a member of the Universal Council in English and you have no access, you cannot reach, or whatever, let's say the Iranian, the Persian speaking language member of Universal Council can hear you. When you're at the beach and you shout in English, not only the Englishman hears, everybody else on the beach hears your voice. This is the next step in the development of the understanding, that sign of the communication, universal language sign of communication. Then you step up as a members of Universal Council, as a member of the Earth Council, and in deeper time, when the man becomes pure in the work of his physicality, that he becomes as close as to be a universal person, then you start hearing the voice of the soul of the other creatures of the universe. In a way, is the elevation of the soul of the man. We know this technology is embedded in us at the point of inception of the man within the womb of the mother. Is one of the first gifts given to mankind by the carrier, which is the mother, the soul of the mother. She talks to us through the emotion of the soul, where she is the capturer by the noise, by the soul of the infant. This is the way it has been embedded within the soul of the man. Now, as those who we endeavor to enter space, as I said, there are no dictionaries in the universe. In the physical world, when we want to ask for something and we don't know the language, we are crippled. We make all sorts of shapes and noises to tell what we need. Have you ever tried to ask for an egg when you are in China and you only speak English? You make the noise of the chicken and every other shape where it comes from to lay an egg. What and how do we communicate with a man of universe who do not even know what an egg is, let alone the bird? But as we understand, they will understand. This is the animal we have on earth. It flies, it lays an egg, and we eat the egg and the rest of it. But you have no language. You transmute by the strength of the soul of the man. In so many ways, is the mankind ready to dig deeper, not in this what we call physicality of the man, but dig deeper in understanding the operation of his own soul. In so many ways, are we ready to open the what we call the RNA of the soul of the man? The recordings which sits within the soul of the man, as not only when you make noise, why are you making these noises for? There must be a memory of the chicken inside the soul that explains the chicken. You do that in your dream to your mom. Mom, would you like some chicken? And she says, what a beautiful cooking. There is no chicken and there is no cooking. But she knows, and you see the chicken and she sees the chicken and she gives you a chicken or you give her a cup. How do we create the images that it to us is real and to the receiver is responded accordingly? But there is no physicality of the man and there is no eye to see. But we see through the eye of the soul of the man. Is vision the only tools of understanding the environment of the man? Or do we become like other animals that we have a sonar through our soul, that we manifest the images according to what we receive and the strength of the receiving it? Now you understand how the next step of the development of the space technology brings one of the first needs of the man. He's not just flying and he's not just getting into the spaceship. As I said, that's the easy part. Now your problem was going up and down. Your next problem is, how do I communicate? How do I even communicate with the soul of my own physicality when the dimension of the fields of the universe are different? If you get a pressure or emotion, you feel strength and pressure on your heart. Now, what is going to happen when the man goes in the depth of the fields of the universe? How much pressure would you feel? Would your heart moves to the top, or would the heart moves to the bottom? Would the heart suddenly, through the fields of the emotion of the soul, releases so much energy that it blows the whole physical brain up, like a stroke, and you are paralyzed? But these are the conditions that mankind has to enter. Mankind has to understand before becomes passenger of the universe. Flying in the box, call it a spaceship, will become a prison for man. if he does not know how to get out of it, to get inside it, to be able to communicate, and even in the depth of the universe, at the time of the need, to be able, through the soul of the man, to be in touch with his own creator soul. In the last week's teaching, I deliberately brought this subject up as one asked, we have a common denominator to the creator. This is the essence of the creation. In so many ways, now we understand the theory. Now we understand the totality, if we can become strong enough to be able to travel in the school of understanding to the depth of strength of our soul. But as we said last week, we have different passengers aboard this ship of this planet. Those who would like to go with a bicycle, those who would like to go with a spaceship, those who would like to travel with the soul of the man. How does these two guys communicate and don't wait for a year for the message to come back? This man has to understand and go within the depth of his own soul to find the answer. I can teach many, but if you have not experienced it, how can you see the beauty of it? This, those of you who are happy to see a spaceship to be a passenger of, how do you make a system for these guys? And then how do you make a system for this guy on Earth, happy on his bicycle? For this, you need a physical communication system. For this, you need a little bit more labor-intensive systems. With this, if you achieve this, then you become true passengers of the universe. You can travel anywhere because you can communicate. This is the stage that we elevate the soul of those who become the true members of Universal Council. The station of the Earth members of the Council in that line will be in that dimension. But they carry both of both directions. Now you understand why we chose the way we did members of the board councils. In this process, we are opening your eyes to the next entry, that once you enter the universal community, you're not a bunch of dumb and deaf people, where you can communicate, not with the sign language that no one understands, but through the language of the soul of the man. Which way do you want to travel? Would you like to go first class? Or would you like to be on a business class, or we are happy to be economical? Or do we create a new class? We call them space class. Because then you have learned the language of space. You have become the language spoken that, like anybody else, you can translate the strength of the soul to the understanding of the interaction of the physicality of the soul of the man. Now you understand. I can teach you for years to come. mankind has to take the strength and option on its own understanding of its own soul. And in that process, if you understand this, as we said, as the universal councils can reach the strength and the span of this universe, the Earth Council will reach, for example, the readers of this planet. Talking to the world leaders is not and should not be in the verb and voice by the members of the Earth Council. It should be direct through the soul of the world leaders. This is the gift which has been given to them, where the members of the Universal Council have access to the physicality of the man of leadership, and through that they can influence the condition of the transformation through the soul of the man. There is a big difference between the two. As you can see, our teachings have become to the point of governing and teaching to understand how to govern, at what way and which way, that we are here to serve the humanity across this planet and in the span of the universe. But unfortunately, with a new understanding of the work of the soul of the man, there are no fighter planes and no aircraft carriers. It all has to fly on the ship of the universe, magnetic fields in the ocean and in the depth of it. And in so many ways, if you understand it, the ship and the water are made of the same. There is no separation between the carrier and what is carried on. This is a major point that the humanity has to understand. At this moment of time, we have a phone that we have to send something on it, through it, to another point. We have a ship, we need the waters to sail on it, where with understanding of the work of the soul of the man, everything is one. And this will be problem for many, many, many of the men of the earth to understand that in so many ways, even we make systems to be part of the communication line, but in fact, the system is the communication. This is what is the difference between the what you call mechanical system than actually a space system. You don't need any anything at all. Then what you think is itself the carrier and the totality. So in reality, it's a zero space and time. These have to be understood. And those of you who understand the true meaning of this will move on to elevate your souls and move on to become the true passengers of the universe. Then you understand you can transfer your own soul across the strength of the fields of the universe, and then convert those souls to physicality of the presentation at the point of arrival. In a way, you shout, you send the message as you say, Mom, I love you. That voice, that noise is the carrier of your own soul. I want to be there. By the time you get there, it's the soul which arrives and not waiting for the soul to arrive. It needs a lot of understanding. It needs the total comprehension of the world of the creation. It needs to understand the process of transportation, transmutation, and at the same time, zero time, zero space existence of the soul of the. Then the question comes, does my soul exist in that point of space and time? Those of you who manage to master this, and you know that it's a zero time space, you can play many tricks. You can manifest yourself at the same time in the eye of the physicality in both spaces. Because the eye of physicality is at a lower length, where the speed of the soul of the man and the strength of the zero time and the space can manifest itself in many places. The slow frame is the eye of the man, but the soul of the man plays in the fast frame. Those of you who understand this, you might have found answer how some people manage to manifest themselves in different places at the same time in different dimensions. This needs mastering the presence. This, in so many cases, those achieve who go through a deep pain, which means they receive so much and they give what they have. We see these at the point of separation of the soul of the man and the physicality of the man. But man, at the same time, if he reaches the point of understanding of his own creation, does not need to go through the point of separation, but he can create the point of manifestation from the same process. If you understood, you have become a blessed soul. Which means, as you move away from the dimension of physicality, the physicality of the man shall do no wrong. As from now on, the soul of the man is the feeder of the physicality of the man, which satisfies his need, be it love, be it hunger, be it everything else that that soul needs. Now we have to understand this position, this line of communication, this beauty of the creation. Then those of you who reach that point, then you understand, if you can, or you become, or you can stand to become a member of the Universal Council. As I said, we chose the member of the Earth Council. Those of you who are the member of Universal Council, you understood the need of the soul of the creation of the man, and in response to answer. Very soon many of you will step down, because you understand the true meaning of servitude by soul is different than the servitude by the physicality. You got to decide, am I traveling? I want to be with friends, enjoy the dimension of physicality, or do I travel with the soul of the friends in the dimension of zero time in the spans of universe? Amazing to know how little we know about our own creation. Do we need to develop technologies to be able to communicate, or do we develop the understanding of the soul of the man? Both is the freedom of the choice of the man. Or do we decide to be on one or the other? Then there is a very interesting point for those of you who have watched too many movies in the realm of the space. If you have managed to educate yourself to understand the operation of the zero time when you can move, then comes one question. Do you need any doorways to walk up spaceship? Or do the spaceships of the true men of universe has no doors? As you can transmute your own soul to the dimension of the existence. This journey of understanding will take some of the mankind till the end of the existence of this planet, and some will mature to it within seconds. Then, if you manage to enter to this level, it comes another point. Does the mankind, or has the mankind, would the mankind be able to go through this barrier of physicality, or through the strength of the soul of the man, travel the spans of the universe? The answer for some of those who understand is very simple. In many teachings, I refer this to a very simple story. And that is, the dynamic systems which inherently have a soul in them have a limitation due to the copper coil. Then I would like to give you a very bad news. Copper sits within the structure of the physicality of the muscle of. Is this the shackle of man to be able to free the soul of the man? As did the copper coil, dynamic fields and the soul brought the creation of shackling man to certain fields. Is this copper coil, which is made of the muscle fibers of the man, the shackle to his soul to be freed from the physical existence of this planet. And I have a very good and very bad news for you. The answer is yes. Good news is that now you know the problem. Bad news is what you can do with it. Or does mankind move into the dimension of universal understanding of the knowledge of existence that creates a field that, irrespective of the matter content of the gans of his body, he can create to engage this totality as part of itself, that it has no interaction with its direction of the motion in the dimensions of the travel in the depth of the universe. Blessed those souls who understand. You were afraid of the copper coils to be able to fly. Now you understand. I have been giving you a hint for a long time. Many of you should have guessed this a long time ago. And I said many times, the muscle, the red tissue of the man is connected to copper. Now, you see, mankind has no difference between itself and the machine he has made to create the flight of itself. It has shackled itself to it by its limitation. And in so many ways, why copper? On this planet, we thought we were connected with the iron. Step up and step down. Now you understand why we have muscle tissue connected to the copper in the dimension of transmutation of the soul of the man with his neighbor iron. And if you 6, you understand the difference. Again, the life of the man is trapped. Again, through dimension of the subdivision of the fields of the universe, which gives the dimension of hexagonal, or what you need, and how one creates one and leads to the other to be captured by both, that it creates between the two the transmutation of the soul of the man. It's becoming easier to understand the cycle of the creation, the physicality of the man, and the cycle of the soul of the man. And then you understand how your physical life in the dimension of the motion of the blood of the man has become the line of communication for his soul, with the soul of the man. In a very short seconds and minutes, we have opened the mystery of the existence of the man, and it's the line of communication within himself to the rest of the universal community. How long would it take you as a humanity to decipher this knowledge depends on the strength and what you put to the efforts of war or efforts of the peace to spend more time, more whatever, to be able to develop the senses of the man towards the creation of the life of the creator, which in common denominator has access to the soul of the man. You can download the whole knowledge of the creator in no time, but do you have time in the dimension of the physicality of the man to make that no time? Then it goes back. Does the soul of the creator have a space and time? Or the confirmation of the existence of the soul of the man gives an indication of the totality of the creation of the creator in no time and no space. I wonder if mankind would have understood this so simply if was not building the space reactors with the motors. Then the dimension of understanding comes now that we have moved into the dimension of what we call dynamic systems with no motors. Would this allow us to create the exact dimensions of the soul of the man within these new systems? Where, in fact, through the systems we develop in understanding the process, we create new communication systems for the soul of the man and the rest of the universe. Those of you who've been busy with this with me, now you understand the message. When you put, like Dr. Rodriguez, your patients within the structure of the system, do you actually move their physicality, or do you increase and elevate the soul of the physicality? Do you enhance the soul of the man, or do you actually interact by elevating the soul of the man, the soul of the physicality? It's becoming very strange to be a man of medicine in the dimension of experience. Now, many of you should have understood that going into space is not just understanding, lifting and having a box to call yourself. Now I'm in a smaller house, I'll call it a spaceship, where I moved in out of the Earth ship that to be traveling within. Now we need to understand more. Now we need to grasp in more depth the totality of the knowledge of the man. And in so many ways, we need to be able to decipher everything we need. How do we need? How do we do it? On what level do we find ourselves to be in that process? Is mankind ready to really understand the truth about his own creation? Is mankind matured enough to understand that his existence is nothing but a mirage? Is mankind ready to take the soul of the man into real dimension of the existence of the universe than the matter physical condition of this planet. In my teachings in the past, I have explained something very interesting. Maybe those of you who understand it will come to go a step further in your journey in the space of the universe. And that is, I explained in my teachings in the recent past a lot of things. And that a lot of things has a lot of mysteries, which now maybe I bring to you a dimension of reality. How do I explain to you as human race where your dilemma sits? Let's say this is the sun and this is the earth. In our teachings in the past times, I explained something very simple. The interaction of the fields of the earth and the sun led to creation of the fields in the packages of the carbon and hydrogen and whatever. And then when these plasmatic field strength, it could have been gold or silver strength, they come in touch with the inertia of this planet. If I can choose a color, then we have seen what we call the matter existence of the entity. You become gold or you become nitrogen or whatever. Then you find tangibility of the physicality. Now, let's change some names and see where the man goes. We change the sun to the soul of the creator. We change and keep the earth as the soul of the earth. Then would the interaction of the fields of the soul of the creator in interaction with the soul of the planet earth by creating the dimension of the fields of the universal energy in interaction with the inertia of the planet leads to creation of the man, to physical tangibility in the form of what we call Ganses. Then you understand how the soul of the man and interaction with the soul of the planet leads to creation of the soul, which gives the dimension of physicality in the dimension of interaction of the inertia of the planet. Then we understand why it's been said in the holy books, I'm made man in the image of myself, as is created by the fields of my own soul. You always looked at the physicality of the existence and not the true essence of the creation. Man is too entangled with his own physicality and never understood why, if I have iron in me, I cannot pick it up and nail it to the wall. But it becomes part of the fields of the creation in respect to the physical dimension of the inertial magnetic field of the soul of the planet, which gives me the physical manifestation. Then, if you understand this, you understand man can travel the span of universe anywhere, as the beauty of the soul of the creator radiates across the same in the whole of the universe. Then when you choose your new home, its field strength and its interaction of it will give you the manifestation of the presence at the point of the field strength. How much more can I teach you? In all my teachings in the past, I have referred to the fact that even the earth has a soul. Now you understand what is the true meaning of the soul, interaction of the soul of the man with its dimension of the creation of the soul of the creator. That it manifests, leads to manifestation of the soul of the man, when with the interaction of the matter state of the physicality leads to the physicality or presence of the man. So the soul can move anywhere and it will manifest itself according to the strength and the position from the soul of the creator. I am the beginning, and I am as the messenger of God. So simple. I carry the message of existence from the creator itself, and not in the position of dimension of existence. Maybe we have opened man's eyes to the true existence of two physical dimensions of his life. One of physicality and one of the soul of the man, where the two merges and the man has been confused in which dimension he exists. Now, what is the space and time? Or is man still confused in the dimension of his own existence? In so many ways, when you listen to the world of science of today, they say we are 99% the same amino acids and the same genome as a rat or a cat. Then the truth comes as the soul of the universe. How similar are we with the soul of the rest of the creation, where we have as a common denominator the interaction of the soul of the creator. Now you understand the essence of it. This is how, when you lie, I see through you. When you betray, I see through you. When you sincere, I see through you. As I am made of the fields of the creator, in every sense I am part of you as the creator. closing my eyes does not mean not seeing the truth. As the soul of the creator does not need no eyes. It is the creator of the soul of the man itself. Now, one of the biggest mysteries of the man's creation is on this page. How long did it take mankind to understand this and comprehend how man itself can travel not the physical spans of the universe, but in the dimension of the soul of the creator? Then if you understand this, how long would it take you to reach the soul of the creator? Or is the soul of the creator the soul of the man in essence? This is the beauty of knowledge. If you understand, nothing has changed from the first pages of the first book. We just changed a few names and a few alphabets. But in essence, the creation of the man in this dimension of the soul is the creation of the soul itself in the dimension of its matter of position to give its physicality or the essence of the creation of its soul. I am the beginning, I am the end. But where does your end finish and where does your beginning start? The totality of the essence of creation is understanding the creation, not looking at the creation. I have nothing to do with the soul of physicality. But in fact, I have to exist through the source of physicality to be able to take man across the lines of creation for him to understand himself, not for the creator to be at the point of the presence of the man. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. I did have a question from Bente stored up here from Facebook. I think it's appropriate, actually. I didn't think it was initially, but now that you've introduced this, it seems perhaps it'll make more sense to you than anyone else. She says she had the great pleasure in going back to book 3 and studying it again, that this time I actually understand. And it's also helped with all the data that Mr. Keshe gives us in the Knowledge Seekers workshops on Thursday. Now I have a question. What determines whether a neutron decays to an atom of hydrogen or to a Gans of hydrogen? As in book 2, chapter 3, the conversion of light ray to the Gans of the matter. And it seemed to me this is similar to what you're talking about here in a way. So perhaps you can answer her question and attach it somehow.
In a way, if you understand the matter of the hydrogen is the interaction with the inertia energy field, the strength of the planet. The Gans of hydrogen is the interaction with the soul of the planet. But it does not need to manifest in the matter state. In so many ways, if any of you have ever held a dry gas in your hand, you should have understood this. If you hold a dry Gans in your hand and you try to put it back into the water, it would never become the same as the Gans before. You can still convert it back in, but you have to go to do the same process as the rigma of the state of the matter. That's the only difference. In so many ways, when you become a Gans, you show the dimension of the strength of the soul of the matter in the dimension of the what we call the soul of the Creator. In the writing of Baha'u'llah Blessed's name, he says, even a stone has a soul. Maybe now for the first time, man understands. You have to know where to look for the soul and how to free the soul of the man from the shackles of physicality. Otherwise, in reality, man is nothing but a stone. How we find your answer? Mankind has evolved and evolved itself too much in the dimension of the physical life as it could touch it. If you can and you understand, and in true essence, if you manage to interrupt against his dimension of his soul, just wonder where it's going to end up within the soul of the man. We understand this fully and you use it in the health application, and now maybe for the first time you understand why we use the zinc for emotional. We use the copper for physical. And we use the CO as a line of communication in holding the two together. And in essence, the beauty, the sweetness of CH3 allows the line of transfer of the fields in the dimension of the strength of the amino acid of the man with the universe. Now you understand. I look at the physics of the creation and not physicality. When you understand this physicality of the soul of the man, you get detached from the physicality of the matter of the man. Needs maturity of time and space. Any other question?
Yes, we have two people with their hands up here, Krasmir and Azar. Maybe Krasmir could go first.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mr. Keshe. This is Krasimir from Bulgaria. I have a question regarding the picture that you just drawn. When you say that with the matter, the physical matter becomes from the interaction of the fields of the sun with the inertia matter state of the earth, wouldn't it mean that if we become independent of the earth matter state inertia, we would not have to manifest ourselves in this sense, in the matter state, and we will be able to go beyond this interaction of the sun fields with the earth and thus go into the plasma state.
In so many ways, the creation of the man has a connection with the field strength of the matter state of this planet in a gaseous section, which is the amino acid. The amino acid, which is the interaction of the fields, is another chemical binding, you call it amino acid, is manifests itself in the dimension of total physicality, in in physical dimensions of the living things. But if you move it away from the inertial zone of the earth, there is still amino acid on the higher levels, and we see creatures in this way. And at the same time, you see amino acid, if you call it, which means the block of life, across the spans of the universe, is not a gift of this planet. This is very much, as I've said before, to you, nothing is there till you put your night vision glasses on, and everything, there's plenty of life in the background. Just because you can't see does not mean it does not exist. Now we have to understand, to look at the vision of the soul of the man, which is very much like a night vision, and it sees the totality. You see, when you wear a night vision glass, then you create that condition of interaction of the fields. So when you have and look with the vision of the soul of the man, then you will see the light of the other souls. Man has chosen the easy way through the eye of physicality, so he does not need to bother with the eye of the soul that is much more effective, and it sees in the dark ages of the creation of physicality. Then, if you understood this, and you understand that you are in the position of the higher and royal length, strength of the field of the creation, would you like to be there? Or would you like to be there? There is something which man has to understand, and maybe it's the need for explanation. Many times in the teaching, we refer to common denominator. In one of my teachings, I've referred to this a long time. We have the gravitational and we have the magnetic. But you might have wondered how these two work. In fact, if you look at it, the two are connected by a field in between. It's the stream of the fields of the creation. And the two are entangled around. So that is the common denominator. This is the same strength. That at any point, does not matter what the strength, this is the same. We call it in the man's language at 1G. Does not matter at what strength you sit, at the highest, at the point of the creation, or at the hydrogen. The balance between the two stands as a constant, which is the tunnel. This is a connection, and that's why the both fields stick together. They have the stem, They have the inner being in the dimension of the time that they can connect. Does not matter where you take. Understand it very simply. If you're on the sea on the North Pole, or if you're at sea level on the South Pole, or in the Giant Sea of Japan or the Caribbean, it's all 1G. Because that's the point where the water, where the two fields interaction has created the liquid state of the matter. So it's the same here. Mankind does not understand the truth about the creation. Is so blind to everything that you should have seen the answer years ago. Have you noticed in some of my teaching, I say we take this to be the combination of the two. Now you understand where it comes to. How simple. That's as simple as it is, and you cannot explain it any simpler than this. Within certain tolerances from it, any protein, amino acid of a given length and strength can exist. Depending on how you base the life to start. If you're a deep sea fish, or your animal live on the top of Himalaya, you have a minimum, maximum, and then you have a point of tolerance because it's made of the same. If you take the fish from the bottom of the sea and create the right physical condition for it, then the Himalaya exists. And if you take the animal from top of the Himalaya to the bottom of the sea and create the right condition of it, it still exists. Because the central gravitational magnetic field of the earth will not change in any of the two positions. Man has got to understand much faster about the true essence of the creation of his own life. Otherwise, you'll be here for another 4 billion years. Still looking, oh, there was a civilization 6,000 years ago who understood more than us. Because they've been through the cycle halfway, they never understood, they went back into it again. And in fact, if you understand this, 1G in many dimensions sits within the carbon 14. And on the other side of it is carbon. And in line of the two sits hydrogen as a zero, at 1G. This is not a hydrogen as you call it single, but we call it deuterium. The field forces of the totality of the fields of C14 and C12 in crossing have that 1G or deuterium. This is why in my teachings in the past I said if you create deuterium, you can travel the spans of the universe. This is the fuel of the universe. Because depends how you turn it, you divert to the dimension of physicality or the essence of dimensions of the universe. That's how simple it is. Any other question?
I guess it would be a good to know how to make deuterium in a good way, in a proper way.
Listen, giving a fishing rod to a man does not make a man a fisherman, does
Not really.
it? Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. I'm still pondering the fishing rod thing there. We have Azar had her hand up, so maybe she can go ahead next. And then we have Arno that was waiting to speak as well.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning, Asa.
Mr. Keshe, when you a couple of things when you made the first drawing of two men and with a soul and a heart, and you made another creature on the other side, your whiteboard was too crowded and we lost your voice, and I didn't get that part. And second thing is when you made the other
When the
drawing.
man was not supposed to hear.
Okay, okay, so so the second one was you made three boxes. One was copper, one was iron, and another box. So the copper was the muscle, the iron is in the blood, which we can say the heart pump. And then we come to another picture, which you made the soul of the creator and then the soul of the earth. Because the field, as they interacting, magnetic or gravitational, and as they lose the energy in combination with the salt of the planet, they give to the amino acid, which is us, we get created. Now, if you take those three boxes, the copper and the iron, bring it to that picture, can you make the connection there?
You should have understood very easily. The interaction behind the fields, if you look at it, you have the iron, you have the copper, you have the zinc. But somewhere here, there is an element which is a cornerstone of the creation between the physicality of the man and the soul of the man. It's a crossing point. Man has no physicality till it reaches this point. Our physical dimension comes from this, and in interaction of these, we are manifested in the dimension of physicality. That's what you have to understand. In the previous teachings, over years, I explained many times these things. You have 12, you have carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. 12, 14. You have here something, sodium. You have somewhere here potassium, calcium, and the rest of it, which is around 40. Then you have another bracket here, which is around 60, where you have iron, you have copper, and you have zinc. The physicality of the man in a dimension of existence of a protein manifests itself. Then you have another cycle here, and then you have magnesium, sodium here, and then here you have the amino acid. You can see how it sits. You have somewhere here the silicon, around 28. and then it goes in the cycle. And a combination of these packages leads step by step to the creation here of the soul of the man. Here you have the beginning, you have the agents, you have the structure part of the physicality, the Gans condition of the physicality in dimension of creation and manifestation. Now you can see what's the next step. Go back to one of, well, most of my teachings at the earlier time. I always say life starts with a magnetic field, becomes a plasma, becomes one piece. That's the field. That's the interaction of the fields. This is physics, which is interaction of two plasmas. The interaction of three plasmas becomes chemistry. The interaction of four becomes the physicality of the man. Fifth and the sixth becomes the soul of the man. And strange enough, if you understand it, you'll come back to the beginning. Not only we have understood the conversion of the matter state to nano, to Gans, and then from the Gans as a field of energy of the man, Gans to matter state. Now we understand the whole cycle of the creation of the man itself. That's why the soul of the man leads to the physicality of the man. This is why I tell you, you do not need to kill. You have to understand how to feed through the soul of the man to the physicality. There is no difference. You took a Gans, you took copper, you made a nano, you made the Gans out of it, you rotate the Gans, you come it into interaction, you make gold and silver and copper from the energy of it back to the matter. So is the soul of the man as a field to creation of the physicality of the man. How hard is for man to understand this simple process? Then why does man kill? That's so simple. Why does man not understand? You, as the new cycle of knowledge, you speak about silica. Why, when you have more silica, you have less cancer? They say. There we are, and there we are. You separate the dimension of the physicality, you connect the dimension of the physicality to the point of the conversion. That's all. There is no mystery to it. It's very simple. Look, I cannot do it any other way. Nitrogen, 14. Ground silica, 14. 56. What else do you want to see? This connects, if you look 6 to 6, the dimension of the matter state of physicality. This connects the dimension of the soul of physicality. Very simple.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Now I hope you know how to make a tooth grow. When I teach, I don't teach only the dimension of the physicality. I teach in the essence of the combination of the soul of the essence of the creation and the essence of manifestation. There is a big difference between the creation and manifestation. Creation has a birth, manifestation has a presence. Mankind lives through creation. The soul of the man lives through manifestation. In past hour of teaching, I have brought the whole cycle of the creation of the man who never understood for billions of years. As I taught you many times, I can teach you everything about the creation, but how many are there to understand the totality? In time, mankind will understand.
Mr. Keshe, that was pretty much the question from Chris in YouTube, who is asking, is a physical manifestation necessary for man? If it is, does this not account for seeming unawareness of the soul? And he goes on to ask, how does man then return to his soul life after immersing himself or myself with matter?
Very easy. In the dimension of the matter state, we use NiOH to open up into the Gans state and the fields of the environment of the matter state. Man has to find that field which allows his soul or his physicality to enter the same dimension of the fields. Is embedded within the emotion of the brain of the man. That's why we have. If you go back to my teachings many times, I have said emotion comes from the interaction of the field of the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality of the man. The same as the interaction of the field of the sun and the earth led to the creation of the matter state of the field, so shall be the same for the interaction of the soul of the creator and the soul of the fields of the physicality of the man to lead to creation condition of the fields of the soul of the man. You have to get the right flow, the right motion, the right strength in, and it will become what is to be. If you look what's on the screen, is the true story of the life of the man in the true meaning of the essence of his own understanding of his own creation. We did not teach man carbon and oxygen and nitrogen, zinc and copper. And we did not create how the fields flow between them. It's man who's done it, and this way, with this language, man can understand. The problem you have has been is this 6 and this 12, but we don't look at the numbers, we look at the energy flow. And the spacecraft that the two energy flows create. And the balance between the two is what leads to the dimension of the physical time. That's the only difference. Mankind has never understood this. If you look at it, this is where you sit. This is your point of physicality. And for every physical condition, it's slightly different. That's why you as human I cannot replicate. And in different part of the universe, different strength gap between the two lead to the creation of the, what we call the soul and entity. And life can be replicated in all dimensions of the universe. You have to understand where that box sits. Is that zero time common watching? This is the line of the soul of the Creator. This is the string which we are attached to it. And it's like, you've seen these fishermen, they take your fishing line and hook up many hooks, and many fishes come to eat. The only common denominator between all these fishes and all these hooks in different positions of the universe is the fisherman who stands on the top, the Creator. Any other question?
We've got Arno, who's been patiently waiting here. Perhaps he can.
Who?
Arno? Arno, would you like to go ahead there?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Keshe. I have a question. I have Rick has sent some drawings.
I don't know. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I made some drawings and I shared them last week. It was about how space winds lead to the creation of how we look and how our animals look. And then Caroline said I have to ask to you if they are correct, but that is not my question. Maybe if you can look at
no, I haven't sent them to Mr. Keshe, I thought you were
Okay,
going
no
to.
problem. Then
I
it's
thought
later.
Arno. I thought you were going to
Yeah.
put together a presentation and be able to
Yeah,
present
okay.
something.
Because what Mr. Keshe explains is what my drawings explain in 2 weeks. So I thought, I know maybe if Mr. Keshe looks to it, and if he likes it, then I can go more
Sure.
into details with the
Okay.
drawings.
Yeah, we
Because
can do that
if
next
Mr.
time.
Keshe
Yeah.
can use that in connection with this, then the knowledge will be served. Otherwise, it
Sure.
starts holding
Yeah.
on because.
We'll look at that next time, Arno. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Okay, then I don't have a question.
We can discuss after if you want to put together a presentation or if you want me to just send all the pictures the way they are, the way I asked you.
Let him make a presentation. Don't send me anything. Just let's see what is the school of thoughts.
Do you want to see it now, you mean? Or
No, let him make a presentation. Then we understand.
okay.
Yes, okay.
Thank you very much.
I think he's got someone that's going to help him with that, with doing the graphics or helping with putting it together, a slideshow sort of thing. Okay, if we could do that for next week, that'd be great, Arno. Okay, go ahead.
The beauty of the way we teach, anybody can pick up somewhere part of it. The only thing is, don't get carried away just because you understood a little part of it, you understand the totality of it. That's as we've seen, has been a pitfall for many.
Yes, thank you. I understand.
Thank
but
you.
for me, it was it showed if you follow the rotation of the space winds, then you see the beauty.
You see, no,
Yeah.
you see, there is something I explained. This is, I think, where you misunderstand, and your presentation has some needs more understanding. Put it that way.
Yes, I understand.
As I explained in the teaching this week, we had a beautiful teaching in the Universal Council meeting with Armin. And this might answer a lot of questions to a lot of you. And it seems that many people have not understood this. If you look at the field flow out of a plasma, we call Earth because it's easier for us to understand. We always look at this, that the fields flow this way and they come out this way. Or in interaction with another field, they come on in so many ways this way. But the truth about it is not this. This is the simplicity of the presentation. The truth about this is, in fact, as we said before, you have gravitational at the North Pole as much as you have gravitational at the South Pole, and you have as much magnetical in the South Pole as in the North. But what in reality happens is not that way. In reality, this goes this way, and this goes this way, and this goes every level. The fields of the planet are not as you thought. So at every point of this planet, there is both gravitational and magnetical. All do not go to the end and come up through the other side. And if you understand this, you come to understand how plasma works. Then you can turn it in a way of itself back to itself. This is what a lot of knowledge seekers have not understood. And when we get somebody coming in and trying to present, you can see the flaw in the not understanding the totality of the knowledge, and they insist that knowledge, what they understood, is correct. The matter state itself has a problem if you don't understand it, because this field in fact goes here too, as much as it goes here. And at the same time, the fields in reverse from here go here as much as they go here. Simplicity of the presentation has created dilemma in presenting the totality of the knowledge. This is why wherever you stand on this planet, you have gravity and magnetical field. It pops out through every fields on this planet. And as I said, if you had that, you have this, there is a 0 point of interaction. If you understood this about conversion of fields to matter and matter to fields, our Iranian colleagues on the Iranian channel, you're writing in Farsi. Please communicate through the channel set up for you. I see you is writing in Farsi. I understand it. I can read it in a way I don't understand it, but I can read it. Please transfer these to the channel set up for you. We answer in the next meeting. Thank you very much. It's just been sent to me by the webmasters. Anything, لطفاً communicate through the Iranian teaching channel, which is set up, is easier to answer. Thank you very much. What I said in how you can convert the energy to matter and then matter to energy, how you can convert the energy of the soul to the physicality of matter of the amino acid and vice versa. We can show this in an application in a paper which is to be released in the journal this week. Then you understand how we have come to this conclusion in this paper, and is in understanding this knowledge that allows us to go to the next step. As you remember, we announced months ago that we have managed to break through a new technology and science of the what is known in the Western world and in China of pig, what they call the African pig flu or swan flu. And in so many ways, this paper is getting released today as part of the journal to complete this understanding. How you transfer the fields of the strength of what we call the strength of the virus as energy connected to the matter state, and then by changing it, you make, in a way, the fields of the next strength. What this means? It means we can get the DNA virus and then convert it. This means that we can get the DNA virus strength and convert it to RNA virus strength. So with this RNA, we can create the manifestation of the new DNA. We go from manifestation of the matter state to the fields, and from the fields in interaction, manifestation of the new. In the pig disease, what we've seen, the pigs dies because of the extraction into the strength of the field, the virus, and in one of the papers in the past couple of months we issued, we released it. Now we can see how the knowledge comes together. And so what happens is that the amino acid field strength of what we call the swan pig flu converts itself to RNA, which manifests itself in a DNA strength of the next cell. What happens is that you have the African swan as a virus. That virus has to have attachment in the strength of the amino acid. And now that we drain it, the RNA of creation of it, which is now is released in the new strength, attaches itself to the next protein, but the protein does not show itself, but it shows itself as the next virus. And then when it stays long enough in a new system, then it disappears. So for the first time we see a virus in a DNA changing in strength and becoming RNA and attaching itself to the next amino acid, and in interaction with the next amino acid, when you add the cycle to it, it leaves the amino acid behind in the form of a damaged amino acid, the same as where it started. So what we see in some 700 pigs, an RNA, which is, sorry, a DNA virus strength, which is connected to amino acid strength, in losing its strength, jumps and becomes RNA strength in the strength of amino acid. And then this amino acid, as it's continuously in touch with the composition, leaves behind a damaged cell, and then this damaged cell itself creates an infection, or what we call like a bacterial infection, which in the process of another Gans, we dispose of the dead cells and the pig lives. We started this process on the 16th of January of this year with a farm with 829 pigs. We were allowed to come in touch on the 19th, where already some 70, 80 pigs were dead from the swan. In entering, we saw infection, like a bacterial infection temperature, which this still cause temperature. And by the 4th day, when we went through the cycle of the pig flu into what we call the secondary infection, we saw what they call another virus disease which kills the pig, and when by the interaction of the again Ganses, we have managed to save 725 pigs. In fact, if you put a line here, from the time we entered, more or less, the death stopped. And this is a massive farm with some 38, 40 sections. And this has been a breakthrough in the world of science. It's taken within 3 days to interfere with all the viruses. And for the first time today, the Keshe Foundation releases the scientific paper, which is already submitted to European community and to the Chinese government authorities. It costs very little. You can save all the animals. And with this, for the first time, we have shown that the Gans is the most effective way to interact with the viruses. Because in the space we have only viruses, as there are no amino acids, and these viruses will attach themselves to the amino acid and cause the death of the matter or mutation of the man. This is one of the most important cornerstones of the scientific papers Keshe Foundation has released up to now. It's full of data, communications with the authority, with the scientists, everything with the people who handle the pigs, and everything else is recorded. And in the appendix of this paper, you see The first case when we did with 1 pig, and then the case which was done with 30 pigs, and then extension of this to a pig farm. And in going into the pig farm with the permission of the authorities, because in these areas you cannot enter, we were taken there, and we started Saturday afternoon. By Monday morning, because by the time you interact, some animals are too deeply already in the process. There were some 70, 80 dead by the Monday. We were there on Sunday, and then we saw the tail off. The way it's done, when you read the paper, this is the entrance of the farm. This is the entrance of the farm. We isolated, we divided the pig house into levels. We created a section with 135. We created a no animal section, and then we created a section with 131 pigs. And here we left the rest of the pigs. The total pigs starting was 829. By the time we arrived and the whole process taking place, is round about 80, 90 already dead or in the process of dying. We isolated the dead pigs when we arrived in this corner. Here, there were all the dead pigs in the sacks. You will see it in the paper. And this is all video. The video connections is provided to the governments. They can see the process. So in this process, with a cost of very little, you don't need vaccination. The vaccination is a waste of time by the authorities, and many farmers lose because of this. This is a specific way of making ganses. And what we've seen, even the pigs which were in this section, which what we did, we at the beginning, the first day, we processed this lot. Then after next day, we created this isolation zone. The 2 days later, section 3 was created. And this passage in the center, from the entrance, as we saw a weak point, was decontaminated the same as this last section. But what we did here, we showed for the first time that the gravitational magnetic fields of the what we call ganses does not work locally, but has taken over the whole environment of the pig farm. Usually the total animal is lost, they all die, and we end of the 14 days, we have saved 725 pigs in the pig farm. All the communications between the parties, the Keshe Foundation team and the farming team and the officials, is all recorded and is put. It's a very unusual way to present the scientific paper, but this is the true way of doing experiment. Not going there and writing papers trying to justify everything shows. And this is what we say, peer review does not exist as it is. And we've seen the people in the process who've been with us trying to manipulate to what we call still technology, which that's the way some people work. But in fact, the whole of 725 pigs, if you put the value of the pigs at whatever, $100, $200 per pig, it's a big loss to a farmer or company organization. This company holds 2 million pigs. In China, there are over 700 million pigs at any time. And now we hear there is no need for vaccination, because viruses, for the first time we understand, are packages of energy which are attached to the amino acid. We drain the system, the energy. And It's a very specific to do because needs to be understood. We have developed a full technology for bacteria. We have developed a full technology for everything else. We can decide literally in the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation what cells we want to produce and what cells we want to take out to be safe somewhere else. Is Ella available? Is she still awake? And is the paper ready, if we can show it? Or do you still need time?
She's still moving, yeah.
Hello. Actually, it's quite coincidental that I just finished exactly when you said that we have it. So we only need to look at the layout, if everything is okay graphically, and then we can export the file and share it.
Where do you want me to look at it?
We will send you on your channel first.
Okay, no problem. So what are you going to see? Thank you very much. What are you going to see in this process is a huge revolution in the world of science. People who understand it, they call it a discovery as important as penicillin. Because for the first time, we have managed to handle viruses, because now we understand the structure of the viruses. And we think 725 cases is a large number enough for proof of concept. We have done this in 3 cases. The first time that we saw the publication of the first paper, 1 pig being sick for 3 months, changed in a week. The second case of 30, which some pigs showed the sign of it. There is something which goes on. This achievement would have been impossible without the full cooperation and collaboration of the Keshe Foundation Chinese team. The sincerity and the way they work with the foundation has brought a lot of achievements for the foundation. The way everything was made readily available to be able to deliver this, to show the beauty of the technology. I would like to thank every member of the Keshe Foundation Chinese team. It doesn't matter which city you helped, how you helped. Without your collaboration and cooperation, and now your new extension of the collaboration with Keshe Foundation China, it's become the cornerstone of the development of the worldwide Keshe Foundation technology in a huge way. You know who you are. For security reasons, we don't release your names anymore. But I would like to thank all of you, the way you have supported our work for over 1.5 years here in China. And in a way, this is thanks to you, to your work and understanding the technology, and in a way, the support we received from all of you across this planet is changing the course. The governments are trying to show they have vaccines and they are testing. There is no clearer indication than this, that there is a new technology, and 720 animals are a good, what we call animal testing. This is done with the full supervision of Chinese government authorities. They take us to the place. We don't go, we don't even know the company where we check in there. We spent 2 days in this place administering material, the process. And the team which work with us, they're all highly educated technicians who are looking after animals. They're not ordinary farmers. All the people you see in the picture, they're all graduates, doctors, managing directors, CEO of the company, manager of the company. They all were appointed to be present in the first day we arrived, to application, to cleaning up the pig stall and everything else. And in a way, what they call you have to do clinical trial, 725, 3 times repetition, seeing the results, shows that the Keshe Foundation Space Technology plasma application is a major breakthrough. And this is what now we tell you, world governments who are aware of our communications and work in the background have and are bringing the technology in the world dimension dominion, that we can start seeing it. Usually when you do clinical trials, half a dozen, 50, 60, this is open communication, and the pictures and the reports was continuously shared with the government officials. Every day, the whole team, the whole structure was aware of the progress of the next step. Saving so many animals gives national food security to the governments. We see nations like Romania are crippled with this disease. Now is in the hand of the Romanian governments, is in the hand of the rest of EU. What decision they make, it depends on their own understanding. But the technology is so cheap, is so effective, that does not need any other explanation. The pigs were tested before, and the laboratories and the management and the professors connected to university in their own communication confirm the swan pig flu has been confirmed in the field. Usually gets reported, and then the officials move in, they slaughter all the animals. If you leave the animals, they all die, and it goes to the next farmhouse. Immediately after the discovery, we were informed. We were taken to the fields. We were given the total free access by the owners and by the officials to test the technology. And the paper is there. It's going to be published both in Chinese and English. And this is because it's a Chinese development, it's a Chinese structure. We have translated into English and is in hand of the officials across the world. This is significant because it shows in space we can control viruses. We can control the mutation of viruses. We can control energy aspects of every possible combination which they might come into the amino acid or out of the amino acid as energy packs. Ella, is it ready to go? Because I haven't received your package yet.
I'm processing it. You will receive in few minutes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mr. Keshe, oh, sorry, go ahead.
What is important is that this can be brought into human viruses. AIDS, Ebola, E. coli. AIDS is not such a virus. AIDS is a combination of 2 or 3 things. But still, the antibiotics used and everything can be used. The beauty of with this technology, with this knowledge, is a natural product. It's not a chemical product. FDA cannot touch a natural product. If this material can be blocked or been said something with it, so from today we cannot eat no carrots, no potatoes, and nothing else, because it's a totally natural product. Understanding this, Keshe Foundation has launched a new product. You call it bio, which is no chemicals, but actually it's without chemicals. We have launched the products of the Keshe Foundation as Gans plasma product, which explains directly from now on, when you go to the shops, into the whatever you buy, you see logo of the Keshe Foundation, KFSSI, registered numbers, which means when you see that, it shows the security of the product, that is not GMO, is a natural process. But this time, even if there is residual from fertilizer of the past. After several processes of the growth with the Gans material, the land is purified. It's pure. It's the first time man gets access to food which is as natural as when the man put the first steps of walking on this planet and consumed. There is no contamination and there is no genetic modification. It's been tested by the governments. This is the most natural process ever man-known. The Gans plasma products, which will appear in the coming time, will carry a C number. This is how we start controlling people who claim, because there are ways we can test now. It's not like anybody saying it's a biological. In a way, this is the most natural way the products can be certified as a pure, the origin, without any contamination. This is one of the reasons we released the video this morning as one of the first parts. Can you play that video again, please? That now maybe you understand why we released this video. It's not only for agriculture, but it shows the rising of a new way of cultivation, the new way for application in helping man to survive. You have to understand the structure of the body of the man is not very far from animals and plants. We all live through the same protein. Listen to this and then you understand what I explained. And then we go into the paper which is published. This paper we published today is being said is as one of the most revolutionary papers, if you understand behind it, of discovery of a new confirmation of the new technology. The last time we tried to do this, some people thought they were very clever, threatened the scientists to be killed, and they tampered with the figures, if you remember what I'm talking about with Japan. This time, I personally took over the whole operation from A to Z. There is no, and the heads of the company confirm they are so happy with the results. Because now the governments stand to be able to serve their nations, create a national food security, produce a national health security, produce a condition that the nations do not look into the pocket and other nations for food and survival. Again, I thank the government and administration of President Xi of China. Without the full understanding of the potential of this technology by His Excellency President Xi and the Chinese government, Keshe Foundation would not break through so fast. You will see very soon what we are talking about, and you will understand how the technology has changed and bring changes. 30, 40 years ago, bio was something. It became ridiculous because now the bios are still the same as before, just a label. With the Keshe Foundation technology, with the plasma technology, we can measure everything precisely. There'll be new codes will come up. Every product has to have what it has is a natural condition and what it'll be. Anybody can measure if they receive the true essence. In a way, what we'll eat is the way the plant was created to eat on its own. Am I there? Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I think we have that video coming right up here, Mr. Keshe.
Can you play it, please?
Plasma agriculture. A new method of farming and agriculture through the use of the new Keshe plasma science and technology. Farming. Virus processing protects the life of farm animals by processing away the energy packages called viruses. Increase in fishery and farming products create the optimal conditions for farming to thrive. Reduction in growth time. The plants grow faster and stronger. Reduction in harvesting time. The earlier maturity time for harvest allows farmers multiple harvests per season. Extension of the shelf life of agricultural products. Increase in grain protein content without interfering with seed genes. Environment. Reduction of chemical agriculture inputs. No more fertilizers or pesticides. Progressive reduction of land nitrites and chemical contaminants clean and restore the environment. Decontamination of agricultural water from poison and metals. Health through food. Reduction in the use of chemical fertilizers or antibiotics in farming practices. Food nutrients in the crops are kept without the use of genetic modification. Improved health for people and environment. Plasma culture. Using the Keshe plasma science and technology, the environment creates and provides to the plants exactly what and how much they need to prosper. Reduction in use of groundwater in agricultural systems. As the energy is absorbed from the environment, a plant does not need that much water to create its own food and energy to grow. Greater crop tolerance to temperature variation. The possibility to grow crops in any climate at any time of the year. Non-GMO. Use of the newly discovered natural state of matter known as Gans plasma water. Allow the natural growth and development of agricultural products. Use of non-GMO agriculture process, proven through governmental tests. Financial security for farmers. Simplify the methods and processes requiring less effort from farmers. More than 30% increase in crop yields. Increase in income for farmers. Global change. Eliminate famine worldwide. Increase national and global food security. Contact us. Visit our website for the brochure in your language.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. Sorry, I just jumped in because I lost my what do you call connection for a while. We have seen now why we start produce, and there is one thing which I'll be asking you, Ella. If you go to the page 70 of the paper, there is a stamp mark. We would like you to withdraw that stamp mark if you can blank it. And on the top of the chart, before you publish it, on top of the same page, there is a number underneath of it and a name on the top of it. You have to blank those out, please, for security reasons. Can you hear me?
Yes, we heard you.
Yeah. On the table you have, yes, there are some numbers. They have to be blanked out, and the name. Literally, if you see on the right side, you have blanked it. We need to blank the rest side and the red stamp. And there's a number underneath again that needs to be blanked out. Just in that page. Everything else is okay, please.
Okay.
Okay, and then you can release the paper and we go through it when you're ready. More or less everything else is perfect with this. What is important is that you might see the colors that you think is the color of the gases, you know, it is not so. These are a specific way it's been constructed and is used, and please do not take it just because you see different things you know about it. It's not what it is. We might have used some elements of it, but in fact, this system is already, as we said, translated and transferred to the governments around the world. And this gives a lot of credibility to the Keshe Foundation Plasma, what we call journal. We start releasing highly technical and breakthrough technologies. As I said, this needs, you need to do the same thing with the Chinese version, because you are releasing both the Chinese and the English. Please do the same with the Chinese before you release. Then you can put it up when you are ready, please. Everything else is okay, seems to be good. What is important, once the pictures are released, I go through with it with you, that you can see the whole process.
Mr. Keshe, there's a question that comes up that's related to this that perhaps you can explain in the meantime here. It's got to do with the Q&A with Dan in our Q&A here. And it concerns this idea of what is a medical device. And that sort of ties in with the agriculture and the health and so on. And some people have been instructed that it's basically illegal or can be a criminal offense to use a medical device. And so what would be considered a medical device? Is a metagraph a medical device? Is a wall with different Ganses on it a medical device? Dan asks, am I a medical device for others, for example?
Yes, in a way, yes. You do a hand massage, or you put your hand on somebody's body when they have a pain and say your hand.
I gave the example of a chiropractor, for example.
Chiropractor manipulates, but there are other technologies. With the process at the moment is, if you look at the Keshe Foundation materials, we give our systems, we submit application form to the government authorities, and they decide if it can be used and what is called. Everything which is, what do you call it, you use to be used for any processes, you submit it to the government. If you look at the Keshe Foundation, which is of the biggest flaws in the court case, is that Keshe Foundation has a certificate by Naturopathica, which have tested our systems, and they've given the Keshe Foundation certificate to be able to, and the process approved. And these are part of what I call, when we speak about the processes, these are processes. It's a process, it's not a healing system. When you use Gans material, you create a process. It's not there to kill, it's an option to take. It's very much, when you go to a restaurant, I force feed you, or is a buffet, you take what you like. It's the same thing with the body of the man. Body takes what it needs from it, you make it available. With a medicine, you force it. You take antibiotic to kill. You take a chemo to kill, to do a job. With the plasma technology, there is no enforcement. You cannot do. It's a balance of the field. You make it available. It's a process. This is why we explained in the cases we have, which we'll take to the European Court of Justice, is this, that the plasma technology is a natural process. So it's, you go, you breathe air. It's not forced to you, you breathe it. It's a process. You make it available if it takes. When you take what you call chemicals, it's a force opposition. With the gas plasma technology, there is not an enforcement. is the option for the cell. The world of what we call governments have to understand this. This is the process. This is what it is.
But legally and with the
legally
current environment and so on, like the Keshe Foundation doesn't just sell certain things that might be a benefit and so on because they're not certified or not.
Everything Keshe Foundation sells on the Keshe Foundation website is legally registered, certified. It tells you even in address, certified for this, because we submit the forms, the applications with all the data to the government. The government authorities say yes or no. When they say no, they've done it many times, we do not put. But there are people outside, they see our system, they replicate it and just put our name or a stamp on it.
Well, I guess this ties in with Dan's question because he's been told by the people in his group not to do certain things or whatever.
You cannot do. We certify in EU. When we ship, we put certified in EU. We sell products in Africa, certified by a standard board and the FDA of Ghana. We put products in Italy, is certified. Goods sold in Austria, certified or is built and done on a license from another one. This is one of the reasons in United States, Arizona has a problem because they cannot get themselves to certification. We shut Arizona down very soon because the cost of running it, they cannot come into commercialization, was putting too much burden on the foundation. Then we move Arizona into the factory position, licensing international. Arizona in the next few days, weeks, will shut down because of we cannot get to it. The same thing happened in Italy. We cannot get manufacturing certification for certain thing. Now we bring in the technology in a different way as manufacturing, which gets licensing. These are the processes. We do not do anything which does not comply with regulations. You sell any products and you put the stamp or the picture of the KFSSI, you are involved in illegal activities. The governments know, we make it very clear. You can take Adidas label and put it on any t-shirt, does not make it Adidas. Your condition is you have to certify everything you do with the authorities.
And a lot of that would have to do with one's intention. Like, and for the example of the hands, say you do using the fields of your hands to process people's diseases or something, but you have to
touch them if they don't allow you, do you?
Right, and also you can't advertise that you're healing people or doing that kind of curing. You can't advertise that you cure cancer, for example. As soon as you put those words together, it's illegal.
It's themselves. You can do anything you like. You heard how the American presidents call part of their nation's military terrorists. Who says? So they set back all the American forces are terrorists. You can talk anything you like. You understand? It's the same as in Belgium, they issued a false document, a terrorist, and then they told them to get lost. They came up with another thing. This, you can claim anything, you have to prove it. The essence is you can copy anybody's. We allow you to use our name because there is a reason. We want the name to become synonymous, that everybody knows. You sell things which is certified. You see, the Keshe Foundation work is a mutual work between all of you. We give you the knowledge, and you, by using the knowledge, you let the others know. That in turn, it becomes across the whole planet. But you cannot abuse it. I've seen people, they do, oh, I'm selling it, it's my only way of income. There are many, many people are making a living out of the logo of the Keshe Foundation. At this moment, we don't mind. We allow you to do it. But in a few months' time, when we open factories in your countries, in the neighboring countries, if you do something wrong, can damage the name and reputation of the foundation. We will enforce. You can still sell what you make as long as it's regulated. When we open a factory, we don't shut you down. If you are within the law, we support you. We support you to grow, we support you to join the factory, we support you every way. But you have to make sure what you do is legal. I've told many people, they come, they carry, they're selling, oh, Keshe Foundation sells a paint pad, Keshe Foundation. Yes, we get it certified. We pay for it. It gets governmental approval. You see the water in Accra, it took us 7 months to get certification. We spent so much money on it. You just take a cell, Gans water, who says? I don't know if you open the tap. Our products are FDA certificated, are standard board certificated, are European government standard certificate according to what they allow us to do. You have to do the same. Just because you put my label, you get caught. We are very clear. We sell products, we send products according to what we sell. A European standard is for you to standardize, get certification. As the Keshe Foundation is opening up internationally, many of you, you find yourself in hot waters. Just because you see cells, I make a living out of it, is your problem in respect to your authorities in your nation. And as we are opening a large number of factories in coming time, we don't go and shut people down. There are 2 people we will close and shut down because of the reasons we have. Both in China. And they've been informed. But we come. You are the person who, if you have certificate or you sell things which doesn't need certification. There are many products which don't need any certification. You have just to be within the law what you do. We support you. We didn't bring the technology to be exclusive to capacity. We brought it to change the society in a good way. But don't abuse our knowledge and our logo. I see many people using it and Gans water and this and that. We report you to the authorities to check. Once we come in, even now, we see misconduct is our responsibility. We heard what happened in Norway. One guy out of nowhere opened his mouth and they got themselves involved with the Norwegian government, the health ministry. This report which you're going to see, we have submitted to the officials at the government level at highest level. And it's them, and we have submitted to the EU at the highest level. It's for them to study, to see. But you have to understand, many pharmaceuticals have spent millions and billions in past 3, 4, 5 years, 10 years to find a solution for a so and so. We done a test on a full control knowledge of a government. We are protected. We just don't, you cannot go in the farms with such a level of, that they slaughtered everything for 10 kilometers. They took us in there, they see the correctness of technology, they said test, let's see. We tested with them knowing every step of the way. Our team report to the officials through the channels they have provided for us. You cannot go in a farm and just get there. How do we know where it is? They take us, they show us, let's see. And these tests, which has brought credibility to the foundation. You save 50%, you save 10%, you're lucky. We saved 90%. Literally, when we got there, we lost only 20. And those 20 was the cycle of what was there, and the section we didn't touch. We did not touch 500 of the peaks, but we created the environment to see if the environment. This test covers different aspects of it. Section 1, which is at the bottom, we washed the animal, we washed the area, we fed the pig and everything else. Section 2 was totally cleaned out, washed out to create isolation. Section 3, they were just given the water and the sprayed ones. Section 4, nothing was done. We just sprayed where the sick pigs on the top were. And we showed the field transfers, the whole animal environment. Within 3-4 hours, they start seeing the drop in the death rate. Within 24 hours, the process started complete. The problem why we got into there, when we were set to test a breakthrough somewhere in China that week, they were told us, be ready for 80 peaks. So we had everything for 80 peaks. The last day, when we were supposed to go out, they said there is a change of the plan by the officials. We are sending you to a bigger case to 800 pigs. We had material for 80. So we said, okay, we isolate, but we spread. And it worked. The nation has saved itself. You have 250, half a kilo, the way it's sold in China. Multiply it by, let's say, 10 RMB, €1. That is 250 euro, the price of the pig. Multiplied by 700, you see how much a nation has saved, how much the farmer has lost. The work of the Keshe Foundation is a National Food Security International. We are involved in that right on the top. This is why I tell you, you think people listen to the Belgians anymore? They become a laughing stock because governments see how correct the technology is, and it's given to them freely. Absolutely free. You show this technology and they charge millions. This is the beauty of the strength of the technology and the Keshe Foundation. We are taken to the position of the support by governments, teaching in universities, doing farms, doing space, everything else. This is what I tell you. Those people who made all this ridiculous accusation, they have paved themselves for the rest of their lives in the cell. Governments have realized what was the plan, to steal the technology and sell it at the high prices and enslave the nations. They got themselves enslaved. You save 10, we save 725 live with the presence of the officials, doctors and scientists. Can you release the paper, please? This is the first time this paper is seen in public. It is one of the most confirmation of the plasma technology as a breakthrough in understanding that viruses can be controlled. When we released this one 3 years ago in Africa for Ebola, the World Health Authority officer took it off the presidential office when it was demonstration. So you talk, all you lose your PhDs and positions in university. They took it out. MIT came out with the paper, the same doctor. This time nobody can steal. This shows the power of the knowledge which each one of you carried. Don't abuse it. We support you, you support yourself, but the correct way. Anything with label of the KFSSI has to be perfect. Can you go ahead, please, Ella? Can you share it?
Yes, just one question. Can you please really quick check your message and confirm that it's okay for that picture?
I didn't see it. I think show it without that page because you have left a lot of information on that. Take
I
the
can
page
jump
7.
over the page, that's not the problem.
Pardon?
I can jump over that page when we reach to it.
But can you blank out? There is a writing right on the bottom you have missed. Yeah? Cover the red circle totally because there are numbers carried in there at the bottom of it. You see it?
Yes, I see.
Yeah? Those digits we want to be out. But you cannot see it actually, can you?
Can't because the
There
resolution
is
is
there
small.
is one line below the long Chinese line. If you can take that out, therefore it's perfect. You can do it. You can show it as it is, but make sure the Chinese version is cleaned up totally.
Okay,
Yeah.
for the online presentation, I can skip this page. When we publish on the website, I will just blank out everything that is.
Okay, go ahead, please. We go through it one by one. Thank you very much.
So I'm just going to share now. And I hope that will be the right portion. Oh, just 1 second. It's just a portion, 1 minute. Actually, less than 1 minute. 2 seconds.
It's still loading. I see there it says Farsi language.
Yes, because the paper is part of the KF Plasma Times for this month, and we were a little late in releasing it. Now everybody can see how it will look. So basically, when you go to the menu of the KF Plasma Times, we have under the Plasma Scientific Journal the paper that we are talking about.
Okay. As you can see, it says, do you want to read it? The application of the Keshe Foundation Gans plasma technology to prevent and overcome the African swine fever and the blue ear disease. It's a virus, blue ear. We've shown how the African swan through RNA becomes what is known as blue ear. Because what happened, the pigs after the application of the gases start showing the sign of the blue ear disease and not of the pig, what they call the African swan, because the test before we enter confirmed the presence of the African swan and no blue. So we saw the conversion from one to another. Can you go ahead, please? That's how we tell you it can change to RNA, because swan, African swan, is a double-stranded, and the blue ear is a single-stranded, which is actually the RNA. RNA is a single strand, which means it travels information. DNA is a double strand, which means it's a matter-state connection or link. And this is how it actually works. So can you go ahead, please, and go through it? You see the index of the paper. Can we have the next page, please?
What I wanted to say just here, because the paper is that that large, we actually added also a sub table of contents inside the page. So whenever you click on any of the menus, then you are taken to the proper page.
Yeah, the first trial is 1 pig, the second trial is 2 pig. If you go ahead, you see it, there is very well presented documents is submitted to governments. Can you go please back page, please? Can I have the next page, please?
Yes.
You see in the green and white, it's all communication directly on the chat lines. Just stop there, please. Go back. Oh, no. Go back, please, to the first picture page. As you see the pigs dead all over the place with the flu, this is when we arrived. The farm is totally sealed up because this can fly from one to another. You see dead animals everywhere. Next one, please. Next page.
It's loading. Probably it will
Yeah,
come up with
a
delay.
bit. As you see, these pictures are connected some to videos. So the video of the place has been taken. This is the reality about the situation. Everything is section 1, section 2. Then you see the isolation made by putting up. Don't go there. Go back, please. Go back. Where you see the isolating sections with the plastic sheets, and then you see the tank of the Ganses on the bottom right side that is used, different combinations, different processes, and you see all the technicians, the doctors and everybody, what they call veterinarians, all there from the, what do you call it, from the company. And so you can see the next step. Can we have the next page, please? As you see here, pigs temperatures are taken, all marked. Original notes have been taken down, communications, and everything, temperatures, everything is recorded exactly as has been online. We are about 1,000 kilometers away from the place, so we had no control. It's done totally by the company veterinary group. As you see, when the dead pigs they are there, if you carry on, please, next page. This is never a scientific paper, never been released this way, because it has to show how simply but how effective it is. You can see sections being taken out, the pigs dying of the diseases. All communication translated to Chinese and back. The Chinese original has no English translation. It's a direct. You can see the conversion of the disease. Next, please. And you can see it's horrendous the way these animals die. As you can see, stop. Go back, please, go back. Go back here. As you see, we are there with what you call safety clothing, because you cannot transmit the flu once you get on a plane or a train. You can transmit it, so everything is done in a very safe way. The next page, please. This is the backup. After this, the company has supported for another 1,000 mother pigs pregnant with 13 pigs. So it's actually the next trial for us immediately became a 14,000 pig trial, and it seems to be working. We haven't heard from the organization. This is the next day after the first week when it was successful. We were invited to the headquarters of the company. For them to organize the second cycle, which was for the pigs could be in danger, which is prevention. And the mother pigs usually have about 13 piglets with 1,000 mother. Is the next rate from 700 has moved to 14,000 or something in that region. And can you have the next, please? And this is how you see the pigs which have died. And what happens, they just dispose of them in bags and they get disposed through official ways, which they do. And next page, please. These are all communications, live communications online. The trial is completed. And you can read everything. It's all concentrated. Can you have the next page, please? This is the explanation of DNA and RNA. The next page, please. And this one is our first piglet. She's grown now. She's put a lot of weight on. We have pictures of her about a few weeks ago. That was where the whole thing started. If you remember, the little piglet. Now she's recovered. Most probably soon we will release more pictures of her. And that's how we saw the technology to be correct. The next one, please. If you remember, this is the letter from the farmer, and this is a second trial with 30 pigs where they found it at the original. It's a letter again from the farmer. The technology is complete, the technology is so perfect. But all we ask you not to abuse it. Strengthen it. This is how collectively we have brought the new knowledge out. Some people for their own financial gain trying to do whatever they like. It's for you to understand what you're doing. And that is the what we call this paper in the future will become icon of the new technology, where for the first time we have shown viruses can be tamed. We never could do such a thing in such a scale. Now any virus is tamed. Because in the space we have only viruses, and this technology is a space technology. This is the beauty of it. And as we say, governments around the world are backing Keshe Foundation and the work of the Keshe Foundation, because we have shown. The biggest shame is that we could not do so much better, so much earlier because of some misconducts by some people. And this is what we tell you, that through the correct conduct, showing the technology's correctness, we have delivered a very powerful technology. We is all of us. We is those of you who sign yourself for change for humanity. When a government sees millions of pigs do not need to be slaughtered, they say billions of dollars. Who do you think they're going to listen to? To a Mickey Mouse game in the most smallest nation by a bunch of the smallest headed people? Now you understand what we announced, what is about to happen to the people of that nation. It's a collective decision. In a way, it's beautiful when we see one pig is saved, and now the structure sits in. We are proud in what we do, and as I said, it's not just here. Every corner of this planet, you're all busy, neighbor, friend. You're all showing, feeding yourself, looking after yourself. And this is why I open my patterns for humanity to help itself. If we can repeat this in the new cycle of the viruses immediately, very rapidly, at no cost, then we'll see we don't need to lose our children, our wives, our husbands, our fathers and mothers to small food. This will set the precedent. You will see the opening of the Keshe Foundation worldwide on the health application. We know what's happening. We see what is happening, and this is what we tell you. Try to be correct in how you present and what you do with the products of the Keshe Foundation, because your mistake, your damage is our damage. You damage all of us. The greed of the man should not become what we call the pain of the others. Certify your goods. Show the beauty of it. Now we release the agriculture paper. Now you've seen the big. We told you we wait for this to be done because the teaching of this morning was needed to complete this paper, for you to understand why and how. There's a lot of effort is going internationally in promoting the Keshe Foundation technology by governments, by scientists, by you, but we have to be correct. As I said, in a coming time, when you can show this, when the government take you to do such a thing, and they monitor everything, the government see the correctness, they give you more rooms, they give you more opportunities, they give you more to show more of the proof. The next step for us is, and we have already stated, is to make one nation, one planet, one race. That the knowledge so freely can be changed and be used. All of us, whatever we do, we shown, and now we have seen, as we say in English, as you know, in an English custom, when they want to insult a person, they throw an egg on their face in public. I think this is an egg in the face of the whole of the Belgian structure. They have to understand how they're going to be, how now understanding of the correctness of the technology help us. We got many trials like this which we slowly release. many trials. Many developments. This morning we received some beautiful trial results. It's amazing what has been received. Done again by the supporters of the Keshe Foundation team. Huge gains. Governments, universities, institutes, and the rest are just coming together in one team, more or less, and that's how human rights should have been. As I said before, I thank the Chinese Keshe Foundation supporting community, supporting us so strongly. And again, I thank the Office of His Excellency President Xi and the Chinese government as a whole, and the support and our security behind us, support us and make everything possible. And we see the same thing. I'd like to thank the Office of the Iranian government for supporting the Keshe Foundation team in Iran, and the way they are allowed to do their work. The same in all over the world, the way you are going. The same with the Office of the President of Brazil in allowing the technology to be siphoned through into universities now. It's part of what we do, it's part of what we have to do, and it's part of the expansion of the knowledge of the man. Nobody can stop this. Thank you very much. I think it's a good time to stop. Nearly 3.5 hours, unless you have something.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. If there's any additional questions, people can carry them on till next day. I think we've answered just about everything on this round around the universe.
I think we learned a lot about the knowledge of the universe. Today's teaching is a very fundamental understanding of the creation of the soul of the man, if you understood. Many of you were wondering how my soul is created and it manifests itself in the dimension of physicality in time. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Well, thank you for yet another journey, Mr. Keshe. This has been the two. Go ahead, sorry.
Thank you very much. See you next time.
Okay. Is there any other announcements that anybody has to make before we close here? Or anything I've forgotten to say?
No, thank you very much. See you next time.
Okay, this has been the 271st Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, April 11th, 2019. Thank you everybody for attending, and we'll see you next week.
Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. keshefoundation.org/donate. Plasma agriculture. A new method of farming and agriculture through the use of the new Keshe plasma science and technology. Farming. Virus processing protects the life of farm animals by processing away the energy packages called viruses. increase in fishery and farming products, create the optimal conditions for farming to thrive. Reduction in growth time. The plants grow faster and stronger. Reduction in harvesting time. The earlier maturity time for harvest allows farmers multiple harvests per season. Extension of the shelf life of agricultural products. Increase in grain protein content without interfering with seed genes. Environment. Reduction of chemical agriculture inputs. No more fertilizers or pesticides. Progressive reduction of land nitrites and chemical contaminants clean and restore the environment. Decontamination of agricultural water from poison and metals. Health through food. Reduction in the use of chemical fertilizers or antibiotics in farming practices. Food nutrients in the crops are kept without the use of genetic modification. Improved health for people and environment. Plasma culture. Using the Keshe plasma science and technology, the environment creates and provides to the plants exactly what and how much they need to prosper. Reduction in use of groundwater in agricultural systems. As the energy is absorbed from the environment, a plant does not need that much water to create its own food and energy to grow. Greater crop tolerance to temperature variation. The possibility to grow crops in any climate at any time of the year. Non-GMO. Use of the newly discovered natural state of matter known as Gans plasma water. Allow the natural growth and development of agricultural products. Use of non-GMO agriculture process, proven through governmental tests. Financial security for farmers. Simplify the methods and processes requiring less effort from farmers. More than 30% increase in crop yields. Increase in income for farmers. Global change. Eliminate famine worldwide. Increase national and global food security. Contact us. Visit our website for the brochure in your language.
Plasma products found at keshefoundation.org/store. Soothing, reusable plasma eye and migraine mask. Eliminate eye fatigue and relieve stress in eye area. European certified medical device. Massaging plasma insoles. Bring comfort back to your feet and energize your legs. European CE certified medical device. Antiseptic plasma liquid hand soap. Promotes well-being and relaxation with protective plasma formula. CE certified. One Soul Plasma T-shirt. Gans formula within the symbols and stripes brings mind, soul, and body into balance. European certified. Pain Relief Pen. Emits a concentrated plasma field at point of pain, efficient up to 3 centimeters below the skin. CE certified. The Magrav's Energizer and Alkalizer raises pH and energizes water through magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Pain Relief Pad, a result of years of research in nanoplasma technology with magnetic and gravitational fields. CE certified medical device. Visit the online store at keshefoundation.org/store or find a distributor near you. Tax and shipping not included.